the digital transformation of life sciences.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for being here for what is the very best panel discussion of the day. Digital transformation of life sciences. I appreciate we've had a break, so I would love to hear your thoughts as we continue the conversation. I have 5 panelists, and I'm going to ask them for their thoughts on the topic and hopefully have enough time to ask you. Life sciences is being transformed just as healthcare is, and as we move through the transformation of life sciences, it has different dimensions, and my panelists will talk about those dimensions in turn. I'm going to ask Saurabh to go first to tell us what changes he can see, and also then to go down the line for everyone to introduce themselves and then give their opening comments as well. Saurabh, if you'd like to start.
Thank you. I'll divide my opening statement into 2 parts, let's say. One, what has been transformed because of digitization in life sciences. What has happened is that what has been working in silos is now unified, or is getting unified, basically. One of the things, let me take a concrete example very quickly. Digital patient twins. Digital twins were basically in mechanical industry. They were in engineering. They were a concept that has been there for 40 years, 50 years. Multiple industries have been using it. Now that has been coming to life sciences and completely changing the landscape of how the patient access is happening, basically, more than anything else. I have a few examples, I can come to it, but let me take the second statement. The other thing that we have been seeing, and there is quite a bit of hype at the moment, is the climate or the sustainability impact. As much as we talk about it, nobody talks about it in the perspective of healthcare, basically. And what is happening is that digitization, or as such tech bio itself, is changing the efficiency in a manner so much so that it basically makes the processes so efficient that the entire process gets decarbonized. One very quick example is making clinical trials more efficient. When we think of clinical trials, we do not think of carbon dioxide, but each patient that we screen uses energy. Each patient that we keep in a system and then the drug fails, basically, we are losing huge amounts of energy and therefore CO2. By making all of this more efficient, you are decarbonizing the entire industry. So very quickly, one is breaking the silos, basically, is making life sciences integrated. And second, by making it integrated, we are making it more efficient. By making it more efficient, we are making it more sustainable.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Vijay, if you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us what you can see transforming in life sciences.
Thanks, Hassan. So just by way of brief introduction, and like Hassan, I'm aware of many hats. I'm founder of a boutique consulting firm called Ceva Global, but also an advisor to Kidney Research UK. I'm a renal transplantee. Also an advisor to the Great Ormond Street Hospital charity and a trustee of the Faculty of Clinical Informatics in the UK. What I'd like to do is anchor us a bit into the problem space for life sciences first. And I think, what do I see? I think to an extent, the life sciences problem space is similar to the problem space for a lot of companies. For example, we've been in an unprecedented period of economic challenge. We've got a war on the European continent for the first time in, I think, 50 years? Possibly another war about to start on another continent. That external environment, I think, has never been more volatile than it is right now. Then I think the other side of that coin, the internal challenges for all life sciences organizations, but I think probably particularly big pharma because of their scale, is around things like talent. And we have in the healthcare business, which many of us know very well, there's a huge shortage of talent, some significant workforce challenges around clinician burnout, for example. In the life sciences space, we have some similar challenges. There isn't a pipeline of talent. So how do we sustain the drug development pipeline into the future? And when you consider that, you know, it's between $1 to $2 billion to bring a new molecule to market, it's not a cheap business to be in. So I think the answer for digital transformation is to be thinking much more about something we've been talking a lot about recently, tech bio, and that convergence of technology and biotech. And the final point I would make is that when we talk about digital transformation, what I'm always keen to emphasize is let's not focus on what I would call transformation theatre. Your new ERP system is not transformation. Implementing a new business model, that is transformation. And when I think about the potential for tech bio, which will bring forward, I think, new business models, which will bring new drugs to market much more quickly, perhaps bring forward the possibilities of personalized medicine, that I think is a really strong potential for transformation.
Thank you so much. Gordon, if you'd like to introduce yourself and give us your feeling about the transformation.
Thank you, Hassan. Just a bit of an intro from my end. Gordon MICALLEF, a principal at RSM Malta. My area of focus is helping organizations define, design, and implement transformation. I was going to comment, similar to what, or extend what Vijay was saying in terms of transformation can mean a lot of different things. So also for life science industry, it's not about implementing a new ERP system replacing existing. So I really believe that there are two key aspects of transformation in life science organizations. Vijay mentioned the first part, which is talent. The second part is data. I strongly believe that data is what is really transformational to organizations, including organizations in the life science industry. Data is the real game changer to actually change the business model to be able to achieve the business objectives at a much faster pace, and that is, I think, one of the challenges that most industries, including life science, face. The speed at which things have to be from inception to delivery way faster, and this can only be enabled significantly if data is properly exploited. The aspect of data also breaks silos. If we do not manage to use the data effectively, we are still subject to silos, and we're not going to be able to maximize the benefits from data. So I think data and people, the talent, is what really cuts across the two pillars that cut across the whole of the industry, irrespective of which part of the ecosystem one is, to be able to achieve the real transformational objectives.
Amazing, thank you. Mudassar.
Thank you, Hassan. Hello, everyone. I'm Mudassar from Philips. I'm leading enterprise informatics for Europe. So my focus is medical sciences and life sciences. And in terms of digital transformation, my personal opinion it is not as much or not where it is supposed to be. It's twice as slower than the rest of the world. Of course, tech bio is an emerging trend, and you see more and more companies are joining. But then, according to McKinsey, there is $200 billion opportunity for pharmacos, for MedTech companies to revolutionize and tap. So why it's not happening, in my opinion, because there are so much intrinsically focused on traditional way of drug discovery, clinical trials, and then also connecting with the healthcare professionals' decision-making journey. So as Gordon mentioned, using data and then also focusing on people, there is a whole lot of opportunity and challenges to overcome. And that will revolutionize and bring new opportunities like precision medicine, personalized medicine, digital twin. So that's my take on it. Yeah.
Okay, super. And Michael, if you'd like to tell us.
Thank you. Afternoon, everyone. So for those that don't know me, my name's Michael Watts. I'm a doctor based in the UK. I still practice clinically, but more recently founded a company called Blüm. So we build software, both public and private, in the UK and internationally. And I also have an unofficial role advising the Department for Business and Trade in bilateral trade opportunities between the UK and internationally. So obviously, being a frontline worker, my view on digital transformation is very simple, that hospitals can no longer manage the influx of patients that we have. We have staff members, as my colleagues have said, that are on their knees, and we don't have enough of them. So the only way that we can truly talk about digital transformation from a clinical perspective, and talking about hospital-based care now, and to a certain extent primary care, is really three things. One, keeping patients out of hospital. Two, minimizing the time that patients are in hospital. And three, discharge optimization. So whenever we think about digital transformation, it really needs to have those influences across the care settings, not just secondary care, but ultimately it stems from we now are no longer able to support patients in the place that we have done for the last several hundred years. And so we really need to think about new ways to do that. And we can talk about novel technologies as much as we want. I think transformation has gone faster than actually the foundations that we've laid. And so for me, it's all about how we lay those foundations of simple, effective digital transformation, and I mean software as a service, software as medical devices, and then we layer in all of the sexy stuff that everyone has mentioned as well, to be able to deliver up that sustainable service.
So I've got opportunities if anyone in the audience wants to join in the conversation, but I do need to see hands. So we'll continue the conversation as we go. So my question to you all is, where is the most opportunity for change? It could be, as Saurabh was saying, clinical trials. It could be, as Michael is saying, in discharge optimization. You know, where should we be focusing, or is this a general trend? Any thoughts from the panel?
I'd say that the biggest opportunity that enables a lot of subsequent benefits is around delocalization of data and actually moving data with patients, right? I think that's probably one of the biggest opportunities. Tech bio indicates that actually we should be thinking about the technology in the way that it supports the human organism and everything around that, labs, the whole ecosystem of life sciences as we know it today. Without that liquidity of data, liquidity is probably the wrong term because it has a financial connotation, but without that freedom of movement of patient data is really important. That and the user experience, I think for me, those are the two biggest things, because from that, you can then start to really understand what population health means, what public health means, and we can start to then take on even more exponential opportunities in terms of the way that we do that.
If I may add to what Dr. Michael has said, like I mentioned, there is enough opportunity for pharmacos and life sciences business to tap into. So almost all the top 30 companies, the top 30 global companies have announced transformation programs, but you don't see any tangible, novel digital business idea. I see the opportunities are the two things, like drug and biomarkers discovery and clinical process. And by using tech bio and promoting this mindset and following the trend, you can reduce time to market, time to treatment, time to cure. Yeah.
Very quickly. So, I mean, I have issues with the terms called tech bio. I mean, I use them all the time. But the thing is, by bringing these big terms called tech bio and things like this, we are alienating ourselves from the technology which is already there. It's already being implemented. And as we implement them, the organizational change will become even more important, which brings us to what you have been saying, basically. So it's not one or the other. It has to be, the entire idea of digitization is to integrate. And again, if you disintegrate within it, like, okay, we do only technology or we do only organizational change, it's not going to be wholesome. It's not going to be a holistic approach. It has to be a circular loop. It has to be both at the same time.
Okay. So my challenge back to you. I thought someone may say personalization, because when you get to the point where you can transform life sciences from one size fits all to really personalized medicine, that's where I thought one of the opportunities might be. The user experience, I definitely thought, can we move to frictionless interactions? Because healthcare is full of friction, and life sciences invest so much in order to get past all of that. I do agree also that we have lots of time to treatment issues, but developing new therapies or repurposing them and making more money from the previous investments. So those are the kind of things I was thinking. That's my challenge back to you.
Very quickly, so when I was talking about optimizing clinical trials, sorry, I didn't use the word personalizing, but this is where I was going towards. Imagine that a drug normally can work for 10 people, but it's been tested on 100, and it will never reach the market because it works only on 10. But by bringing it to the market and by bringing it accessible, by making it accessible to those 10, it's a precision medicine for them. And this is how you do both. You decrease the cost of the clinical trials while you increase more treatment options in the market. And for me, this is absolutely, absolutely required.
Amazing. So I'm scanning just to make sure if there's any hands. Let me know as we go through the conversation. So any other thoughts on this before we move to the next question?
Hassan, I'd like to add your perspective of the frictionless and personalized, which I think especially the personalized aspect is what we are seeing more and more, sort of where the industry is moving. But therefore, then I go back to that all that is driven by data, because without data, we can't personalize. And the speed at which we want to get the right data, process the data, and obviously the efficiency of processing that data, and getting the necessary specialized results specific to that particular patient is definitely not going to be fundamental. It's fundamental now. So the data, and we've seen organizations invest a lot. I think the objectives of having the right governance structures for data remains a key objective for any industry, but also in life science. That's where also privacy comes in, security and all of that. So I still see that the future for the industry to continue to evolve at that speed is based on data.
We're entering about the last 8 minutes or so. My final question is about the how. You know, what's really important is, can we leave here with some idea of how do we make this sustainable? How do we make it stick? It's amazing to talk about things that we want to get to, but it's the practical things that I'd like to go through. We don't have too much time, so I'm going to ask for your thoughts and comments. I'll keep an eye on the audience, but it feels like it is just for the panel for now. Anyone want to go first?
I can take a very quick, let's say, dig into it. I really think it's the ecosystem enabling. So I really think that startups have the capacity to bring the change, but they have to be supported. They have to be supported by the ecosystem that corporates have, the supply chains that corporates have, the reach that corporates have, the investors, the capital is, of course, absolutely needed to make it catalytic. But at the end of the day, it's the ecosystem enabling. This is what will, let's say, the transformation is already happening, but what will make it more efficient, what will make it faster?
Hassan, I'm going to answer the last question you asked partly as well. I think that the opportunity, from my perspective, is for a human-centered future. And what does that mean? Well, I think it means, for example, being better at dealing with health inequalities. Those of you who follow me on social media will know I spend a lot of time banging on about health inequalities because at the moment we just don't do enough. And I think we should be doing a better job, and I see tech bio as one way for us to realize that future. How do we do it? Well, I think we need to be pragmatic and execution focused. And to pick up Saurabh's point about using the ecosystem, you know, the bigger organizations need to be prepared to partner with the smaller organizations to take that risk of failure. For example, we've got friends in the audience from Clinitouch here today who have products, services that could be used, for example, for decentralized clinical trials or clinical trials. It's about the bigger players putting the money where their mouth is and saying, we're going to invest, we're going to commit. And if things fail, that doesn't mean we're going to back out. We're going to try again with something else.
I'm going to not take a lot of time because that's a very tough question, obviously, the how. But I think I will agree with both my colleagues. An open ecosystem is what really is needed to take this further. Other industries have done it. We've seen it in other industries such as financial services, where an open ecosystem with startups has accelerated the growth of the industry. So I believe strongly that principle is also what is needed.
And Mudassar, just quickly, you and I had a brief chat about the experience Philips have that other startups can follow on from.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So besides the willpower of the life sciences business to accelerate the digital transformation and then also building in a startup ecosystem, I believe a lot of solutions, a lot of digital transformation enablers can help. So I can give some examples. For example, we support customers and pharma companies and MedTech companies, device manufacturers, by solutions like digitizing digital imaging, oncology, cardiology, cardiac monitoring safety platforms, pathology, complete digital pathology solutions. And then one thing I want to call out is the clinical trial accelerator program. So basically that reduces, first of all, it digitized data from multiple sources, multiple patient populations, put it into a cloud, and help the facility to research, to do the right kind of drug discovery, biomarker detection much faster, much easier. And then with analytics and predictions, they can bring the services to the market faster. And eventually the benefit is accelerating the whole digital transformation. This is one of the use cases, but there are plenty. And the life sciences business, they have to speed up, they have to invest in, they have to open up their rigid traditional processes to open up and try new things every day. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Just to mirror the remarks that my colleagues have said, really, I think I believe the only way we can keep this sustainable is by re-understanding what we mean by value for money. I think healthcare is a particularly complex industry, and we've kind of lost sight of what value for money actually means. Take Vijay's example in health inequalities. If you're only serving 50% of a population, your solution is twice as expensive. And I think we often forget about that. And it's probably more than twice, because actually the cost to serving that underserved population is more expensive than the served population. I think we need to find sustainable ways to actually deliver this solution. No longer is saving FTEs in the UK NHS a way to release cash for hospitals, because they're not, the NHS doesn't really sack employees. So we need to think about cash release and benefit and being able to sustain the cost models that we have for our healthcare services. So having a deep understanding of the service that you're in, the geographies that you're in, being able to find a sustainable business model. That might mean support from large enterprise organizations, but at any one point that could end. And so I think we need to think about diversification, internationalization, supporting other populations that we haven't already thought about. And that's why, you know, thinking outside the box as a clinical entrepreneur has never been more important when it comes to sustainable entrepreneurship.
Okay, amazing. So we have 30 seconds each for closing statements. I'd like us to go in reverse order of the opening. So Michael, all the way to me. The closing statement I'm looking for really is one takeaway for us to think about transformation digitally in life sciences. What's the advice you'd give this audience to take away? Michael.
I think it's, as cliche as it sounds, start from the ground up, really get those foundations right, understand the market, understand the solution, understand the pain points of the people that you're serving, and work from there. Then layer in all the complexity, layer in all of the novel technology. That would be my closing statement.
I want to add to Dr. Michael what he mentioned. There are three things that always come to my mind. Making easier for pharma companies to do the drug discovery, expedite the clinical trials, and make it relevant for healthcare professionals and patients. That is a key towards digital transformation. Yeah.
Okay, not to create controversy, but digital transformation is not about technology. Technology is just a tool to achieve the business objectives. So the real effort is about the business objectives and the business model. Technology comes after.
I furiously agree with Gordon. So point one, don't forget the human. The reason we do this is it's all about the people, the patients, the carers, the clinicians. Two would be ambitious, take risks.
Ecosystem, that's the word basically. Gain from it, give it back, learn from it, DBTL, design, build, test, learn, and the entire transformation we will see faster than we can imagine.
So I told you that this was the best panel, and I genuinely believe this has been the best panel of the day. We've had wonderful comments from my panelists, from Michael, from MUDASSAR, from Gordon, from Vijay and Saurabh. Can I get a round of applause, please?